So I just want to add a disclaimer too that this webinar is actually recorded and all the recording will be provided whoever registered in our email through link. Subasa.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Let me see screen. Okay, so my screen is visible to you guys, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, so welcome to today's webinar. The topic says elevate observability with Grafana and Prometheus. So yeah, let's dive in directly. Okay, so before at the first, I just want to give brief introductions of what Prometheus is, so that we can understand basic terms that we will be using on short demo after some times of the slides. So basically, Prometheus is a pool-based system, so where it scrapes the metrics from different solver, and it presents in the format of PromQL, so that they can be delivered, or they can be represented on in the format where most of the applications or most of the visualizations tools or monitoring tools can support. And if if you are running, and Prometheus is just simple, and it's easy to use. So I'll briefly describe everything over there. So what actually Prometheus does is it basically scraps or pull the data from your application server. That application server might be your any node that might be hosted on Linux or digital versions, or anything like that, and can be a database or any other sort of service. Or in some cases, Prometheus even can monitor the tools like tools used in the IoT. Even it can monitor your router configuration and many more things. So to monitor all those things, Prometheus has service discovery, which is basically modules and exporter or integrations that are highly available. And if you search for any integrations, for example, if you want to monitor the X systems, and you just go search uh, node exporter or integration of X system on the Prometheus or in the Google, then it's quite, you will get two or three or more than that integration that already exists in the internet. So you can use that, and you can make it workable in your systems. So while integrating any of these Prometheus integrations or exporters, you can natively instrument your jobs. Those jobs are basically the things that will be executing or processing in your application server or your server level or any of the infrastructure you are hosting your applications. So you can natively instrument those things, or you can use uh, exporter or integrations that are available in the Prometheus open source systems. And talking about this, Prometheus is an open source project, and it is widely used nowadays for monitoring tools. And in integration with Grafana and Prometheus, nowadays most of the complex systems are being monitored, and they are being easy for the most of the IT guys, and many things. So in my personal experience, as personal experience, we have integrated these. So in this current webinar, we will be covering the first part. So we'll be talking about the matrices, and how to see those matrices on the Grafana dashboard, and other things we will cover in the maybe next webinar session. So this is the basic dashboard you will be getting once we do some demo, and once I describe some of the basic things, how we can set up and other things on the Prometheus and Grafana. And yes, So as I told you before, the wide use of Prometheus is due to its ecosystems. As I told, the main things about the Prometheus is exporter and integrations. And believe me, these are the best I have used till date. So we have tried other monitoring tools also, but I haven't seen so much huge ecosystems, so community and everything's they are simple, they are easy to use and many more. So I have shared the links over here and I will show these integration and exporter while demo sessions, but for now, let's uh, make let's think that these are the basic things we need to understand while setting up the Prometheus and the Grafana cloud. Okay, so yeah, so I have said that Prometheus simply scrapes Prometheus works on the pull mechanisms. So once the matrices or other activities are pulled from the your application level, then there must be something where we can visualize those matrices. And there comes the Grafana cloud to that helps to build a dashboard that helps to understand the query, and that also helps us to understand at what time what is happening on our monitoring systems, what times our application, how our application server is working. So as I told before, Grafana basically have uh, lots of things, but on the observability, to obtain any observability patterns in our application systems, we basically have to do three things, that is matrices, logs, and traces. So in this webinar, we are talking about these matrices sessions, and that is done by the Prometheus. And these tools are also the open source systems that will be that can be hosted on the Grafana, but these two are not the things we will be covering on this webinar. So we'll be working on Prometheus and how Prometheus are working on with the Grafana cloud or Grafana. Okay, so here is the global view of Prometheus with Grafana. So if you see at the top, there is a Grafana, and in the middle, there is a Prometheus server, and at the last, there are the application server. So as I told before, Prometheus can be used to monitor any sort of the tools that might be your my database, that might be your node. Node means I'm referring to the Linode or Windows or something like that. So we can literally can monitor any sort of operating systems, or even we can monitor the IoT or many more things. So these are the global view. So in this view, what we can see is Prometheus basically collects all the matrices and other events from this application layer, and it convert the matrices to the Prometheus format, and those are and once the Prometheus collected those data or matrices, those are fed to the Grafana to show as a dashboard and other graphical representation where you can visualize what is mainly happening on our systems or the application there. Okay, so why we use Grafana Cloud? So in my personal experience, we are using Grafana Cloud. We can host Grafana Cloud. Grafana is also available as open source, but we prefer Grafana Cloud as a host cloud. Grafana as a cloud are already built in things so that we can um, we can use most of the services they provided. So Grafana cloud is fast and easy. So basically they cache all the all the matrices or events, and they perform the delta. So they show the delta of the queries or events, so that it's super fast, and it's also highly reliable, and the most importance is it's a horizontal scalable. So if you are using the Grafana cloud, and if you feel like, okay, we need to scale up a little bit, then uh, it's super easy to scale to. And also it has a best UI, built-in UI, so you can just create a rule or all art systems for your applications. For example, if you want to have a rule or a rule or alert for saying that your ticks is used for 85% or 90%, then you can go over the Grafana and you can select the alert systems, and that can be integrated with any of your notification channel level. That might be Slack or Gmail or anything like that. Okay, so as I told before, Prometheus has huge integration and exporter ecosystems. So basically, to run the Prometheus, you have to install the exporter, and you have to update the Prometheus configurations to scripts what things you need to be, monitors in your application or server level. And to visualize those things, you need to download the appropriate dashboards in the Grafana and link that dashboard with your Prometheus endpoints. So I will be showing all these in a demo. So what is the exporters, how exporter will do workings, and where we can get implications, I'll be showing in the demo section, so that it will be easy for us if you want to give try to the Prometheus after this, or if you already are using the Prometheus, then maybe it will be more it will be help you to how to improve the integration parts or something like that. Okay, so before going to demo, so as I want to share you some of the input, some of the part of the Prometheus. Okay, so this is the Prometheus site. So if you go to the download section of the Prometheus, you will see the zip files for most of the operating system that you want to monitor. So to set up the Prometheus, what you have to do is you just go to the prometheus.io slash download sections. And from there, you can choose the tar.jj file format, and you can install these to your server. For the demo purpose, I have already set up these things. And if you scroll down a little bit, here you will get the other exporter too. So for this demo session, I have already downloaded Node Exporter also. So Node Exporter means basically is a client where that will be hosted on your server or your applications, and Prometheus and send that uh, details or that matrices to the Prometheus server. So yeah, let's have some demo then. All right. Okay. Okay. So once you install the Prometheus and once you set up the Prometheus, this is the UI of Prometheus. It's basically open, so you have to use some types of firewallings, or you have to you have to implement maybe reverse proxy to be more secure. But for the demo purpose, this Prometheus is open on 1990 port for default, so I have set up this accordingly. And if I go over here and see the targets, then uh, these are the endpoints that Prometheus is probably pulling the matrices from. So as you see, there is a node, and this node means this is the one single application or one single server that is hosted on the Linode and using the Linux operating system. There are two other And if you see here, here is the Prometheus, and so Prometheus itself is scraping its own server. So basically, here are 4 different node that will be integrated on the Grafana, and we will see some of the live real-time visualizations or real-time dashboards and see how Prometheus are actually pushing the events to the Grafana after pulling it from your server where you have installed your node export. Okay, so this is where Prometheus server is working, and if I go to this one, so you will see you will see some of the text-based matrices. So these are generated by the node exporter. So basically, node exporter is the agent or the simple binary file that will be hosted on your systems where you want to monitor that. So by default, it's run on the 9100 port, and that these these all value will be scraping by the Prometheus. So what we have to do is we have to update the simple configuration file of node exporter and also the Prometheus, and set Prometheus that please scrape all the matrices that are available on this server on this port, and give back it to the uh, Grafana. Okay, so these are the 2 things uh, we need to do before seeing the things on the Grafana. All right, and if you see over here, you will see how your CPU per second is actually working. So this data is something we need to see on the dashboard. So maybe for now it is quite difficult to understand what this record means, but once you understand what you are monitoring or what you want to monitor in your application systems, you will understand all these things. So yeah, this is all about the node exporters and the yeah, Prometheus. All right. Let's just go to the slide again. Okay, so here I have shown the how you can install the exporter and the integrate with your applications. So next, what we have to do is we have to tell Prometheus that uh, you need to scrape the node exporter details from the particular IP or the particular applications and fetch it back to the Grafana. For that, I will show what will be the configuration file for this, so that you can just try in your own. So let me just quickly go over here. So this is the server where I have installed the Prometheus. So if I go over here and do this one, okay. So if here you will see the certain format of the file, and as I show you before that these are the nodes that Prometheus is being scraping. So here you will see a job name, and it's called the Prometheus. And by default this job name will be there once you install the Prometheus from the download section of Prometheus. So depending upon these script configs, the data will be visualized, or data will be seen on the Prometheus itself, and later on that will be shown on the Grafana, so that it will be easier for all the team members, or the one who's managing the server or applications, to figure out what is actually happening on the application level of any systems. So for the demo session, I have configured a separate node that will be the node job name with node. And other than that, these are actually the things we have using in our real production systems. So for the reference, I'll be showing those things too. And yeah, this is the basic configuration you have to do when you have installed the Prometheus binary file. And Prometheus, to install the Prometheus is quite simple. You just download the file from the download section of Prometheus, and it's the binary user file. So you just run /Prometheus, and all the configuration will be automatically saved, and the Prometheus will start, and it will automatically scraping the data from the configuration you have provided over configuration file. Okay, all right. This is the basic configuration you have to do before seeing the data on the Prometheus and Grafana. And yes, then the last sections, we will be using download and update the relevant dashboard. So in my previous slide, I have shown this. This is the basic dashboard shown from these data. So from these data, actually, it's from these data we have built this dashboard where you can see your CPU uses, how CPU is being used, your RAM memory, and many more things. Okay, all right. Okay, so now I will go to the Grafana. So this is the Grafana dashboard. So you just simply create the accounts in the Grafana, and you don't need any further, you don't need any credit cards or something like that to open the accounts in the Grafana. So you just go to the Grafana, and you have to set up certain things to fetch the data from the Prometheus server where we have set up these things. So to make things clear, so this is the Grafana dashboard. This is the Grafana, and Grafana will using these endpoints to show the data from the Prometheus, and Prometheus will collect the information from this application layer. So at the first time, it will be a little bit here and there part, but once you start it, once you all the steps, then it will be pretty clear for you. So yeah, let's go to these sections. And now, okay, so before that, I will show you what does actually node exporters mean. So this is the applications where we have installed the node exporters that generally collect all the matrices of your Linux systems. For now, this is the Linux system, so it will be collecting all the all the activities, all the matrices of the Linux systems, and this will be pulled by the Prometheus. So once you install the node exporter also is too simple. It's just a binary file. You just install the uh, node exporter from that Prometheus part, and you run that as a binary file like /node exporter. And in this server, I have set up node exporter as a service, so I do not need to run this as a /exporter. I can simply run as node exporter. So if you run node exporter in the your server, then this will show output like this. This means your server is being tracked or being monitored by the Prometheus using the node exporter. Okay, all right. And if I go over here and see how does Prometheus do? So if I do this over here, sorry. Okay, all right. So it's already over here. So I don't think we need to do that. So this is the basic configuration I uh, described earlier. So this is the Prometheus systems, and this is the node exporter. system. And now, okay, now let's go to the Grafana. And in Grafana, I said that as I previously said, we can just import the dashboard. So for the demo purpose, I already have installed the dashboard. So I'll just go over to here and open this one. Okay, so as you see here, the data source will be Prometheus, and Prometheus will be monitoring the instance from this one. So this basically will be this server, and here this instance belongs to this one. So if you see over here, so I have created this for the demo purpose. So CPU usage is much slower, but the main thing is these are the things you can see on the Grafana that are provided by from the metrics that are provided by the Prometheus. So if you look over here, so you will see the CPU usage over the time. You will find out uh, load on your applications over the time series, and if you go over here, you can just see the performance of your CPU and many more things, memory in the last 5 minutes, and depending upon this, you can configure your server spaces, CPU, and many more things. And in Grafana, there is also systems called all out or rules. So, for example, if you want to create the rules, like if the memory usage is more than 80%, then please allot me about these systems. Then you can configure those in the Grafana. You can configure those in the Prometheus, but Grafana is more feasible and reliable on those parts. Okay, so let me show you another dashboard where actually we can have a little bit more data. So I just go to the dashboard and okay, so this is the production applications which we are monitoring using the Prometheus and the Grafana. And here you can see all the information related to your CPU, RAM, use RAM, maximum RAM use over the time, and more things. And also how much disk space is being used, and how much disk space is being available, and what is your CPU basic uses, and many more things. Okay, so yeah, this is the first node that is using the Prometheus. And if I go over here and select another one, okay, so and this is the second application we are monitoring from the same Prometheus server, and use and the Grafana to visualize this. So if I go to this dashboard, so you will see basically you will see the data related to the particular instance which we have selected over this one. All right. Okay, so since Prometheus is a pool-based or pool-based systems architect, it talks on the pool-based architecture system. So if you want to, if you want to monitors more than the two nodes, two to three, four, five nodes, then what you have to do is you have to add on the configuration file as I showed before in the prometheus.yml file. So it will be after you configure those stat configs over the Prometheus YML file, then it will be listed down over these sections, and you can choose which server you want to look from this part, and you can literally understand all the things about your systems. Yeah, I think this is okay. All right, let me just go to the okay. So yeah, this is the quick and simple demo that I have prepared for this webinar. And as I told before, uh, Prometheus and Node Exporter are the basic things you need to set up before monitoring any types of applications and for visualizing those things to the Grafana. Yeah. This is- Okay, so one more things. So if you want to try out the dashboard, different dashboards available in the Grafana, you just can go to Grafana and search for the dashboard you wanted. So and you will see like so some of this. Okay, so here you will find all the dashboards you can use in the Grafana. You can simply choose which will be the best for you and just can okay, let me just do one more thing. So I want to integrate this node exporter to my Grafana. So I just copy the dashboard ID by clicking over here and I go to the Grafana dashboard. So from here I will go to here and here I will just enter the ID of the dashboard and click load. Okay, so this name is already there, so I'll just rename this one. Okay, so once you import the dashboard, you will see a different type of the UI. So it basically shows the CPU PC percentage and overall system load, like 5 minute average, 15-minute average, and RAM being used on the system. So yeah, these are the different dashboard you can implement in the Grafana, and you can check uh, over the time how your systems or applications is being performing in real time. And if you want to explore more than that, there are sections below this that segregate more about our application. So these are the things you can closely look and see what things can be monitored and what things you need to update or upgrades as the traffics or as your applications you know, increases in the real time. Okay, so just to do the recap of what we cover in the webinar. So we have see how Prometheus can be implemented and what can be done with the Prometheus along with the help of Node Exporter. So in current days, like as I told, Prometheus has huge ecosystems and almost everything you want to monitor about your systems can be done using the Prometheus and Grafana. So it's widely adopted and it's robust monitoring and it can monitor your system resilient ways so that you do not need to worry on many things that can happen. And we also see how you can import the matrices full from the Prometheus to the Grafana Cloud. So Grafana Cloud is easy to use, it's scalable and it's reliable and it's also the distributed horizontal scalable system. So if you want to upgrade it to that in any moment of time, you can do that simply by clicking on uh, the upgrade buttons. And lastly, we have seen some of the exporter and integrations that are available on the Prometheus, and we also look the ways how we can easily adopt the Prometheus in any of the systems over the internet or anything like that. So yes, I think that's all I want to cover on this webinar. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this saying this, I want to conclude the today's webinar of Elevate Observability with the help of Prometheus and Grafana, and want to give the session webinar control over the Susan sir.